Hi, friends. I'm titling this one Faith, Politics, and Past Presidents. The purpose of this is not to be controversial, but just to read one quote about former presidents and their faith, and then to read some actual statements from former presidents on the Bible, especially. Now, keep in mind that in society, sometimes just talking about the Bible is controversial. So, what we do as a church on a daily and weekly basis to some is deemed controversial. Talking about Jesus can be controversial as well, or anything regarding truth. But again, the purpose of this is not to be controversial, but just for us to think about how that sometimes we think our faith or our religion and politics are mutually exclusive. And I think these quotes will show that they aren't. So this first quote is it's written by Stephen Waldman from his book, Founding Faith, Providence, Politics, and the Birth of Religious Freedom in America. And here is what he writes. Freedom of conscience means not only the freedom to believe, but also the freedom to change. Not only the right to practice one's faith, but also the right to a spiritual journey. The founders didn't just champion religious freedom, they used it. Franklin, Washington, Jefferson, Adams, and Madison never stopped examining passionately, combatively, wisely life's deepest questions. Each journey was distinctive, but they ended up in similar places, still deeply spiritual, but with an ever-shortening list of required religious creeds. The older they got, the simpler their faith became. And the rest of these are going to be from some presidents. This kind of gives us a flavor for it. I'm not even referencing quotes by Washington, Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln. But here's the first one from James Madison. We have staked the whole future of American civilization not on the power of government, far from it. We have staked the whole of our political institutions upon the capacity of mankind for self-government, upon the capacity of each and all of us to govern ourselves according to the commandments of God. The future and success of America is not in this Constitution, but in the laws of God upon which this Constitution is founded. Again, that's James Madison, the fourth president of the United States. The next one, John Quincy Adams. So great is my veneration for the Bible and so strong my belief that when duly read and meditated upon, it is of all the books in the world that which contributes most to make men good, wise, and happy. Again, that's John Quincy Adams, sixth president of the United States. Andrew Jackson. That book, sir, is the rock on which our republic rests. Andrew Jackson, seventh president of the United States. Ulysses S. Grant. My advice to Sunday schools, no matter their denomination, is hold fast to the Bible as the sheet anchor of your liberties. Write its precepts in your heart and practice them in your lives. To the influence of this book, we are indebted for all the progress made in true civilization, and to this we must look as our guide in the future. Ulysses S. Grant, 18th President of the United States. Woodrow Wilson. The Bible is the one supreme source of revelation of the meaning of life, the nature of God, and spiritual nature and needs of men. It is the only God of life which really leads the spirit in the way of peace and salvation. America was born a Christian nation. America was born to exemplify that devotion to the elements of righteousness which are derived from the revelations of Holy Scripture. That's Woodrow Wilson, 28th President of the United States. Calvin Coolidge. The strength of our country is the strength of its religious convictions. The foundations of our society and our government rest so much on the teachings of the Bible that it would be difficult to support them if faith in these teachings would cease to be practically universal in our country. That's Calvin Coolidge, 30th President of the United States. Two more. Franklin Roosevelt. We cannot read the history of our rise and development as a nation without reckoning with the place the Bible has occupied in shaping the advances of the Republic. Where we have been the truest and most consistent in obeying its precepts, we have attained the greatest measure of contentment and prosperity. That's Franklin Roosevelt, 32nd President of the United States. And then the last one, again, this is all food for thought as we consider our own faith and we think about our religion and our convictions on the Bible and the freedoms that we have to express our religion in the Constitution. Harry Truman once said this: the fundamental basis of this nation's laws was given to Moses on the Mount. The fundamental basis of our Bill of Rights comes from the teachings we get from Exodus and St. Matthew, from Isaiah and St. Paul. If we don't have a proper fundamental moral background, we will finally end up with a totalitarian government which does not believe in rights for anybody except the state. And that's Harry Truman, the 33rd President of the United States.